Okay, we're going to take a look at GitHub, and I'm using GitHub Desktop, and we need to add a project into Git. And what we're doing is trying to figure out what project that is, which is going to be an example that we made for Unity. So I'm going to use the Unity Hub to go and find my project, the AR Project 3D Core. So this is the little test project that we've got to kind of say hello world to XR. And it's in a good spot. It's in my GitHub area, but it's not a GitHub project yet. So I need to make it a GitHub project. So we're going to go and say, we can do an add a local repository. We could call it a new repository. So I think a new repo is a good idea. And we could say local path init. But you know what that's going to do is it'll put the repository over it. So we want to import something in. So add local, but it's not really one yet. So what can we do? Say clone gnome, add local. So let's say I got my GitHub and I held it AR Project 3D Core. I'm going to say, this is the thing. This structure does not appear to be a Git repository. Would you like to create it to be a repository? Yep, we do want to create it to be a repository. Call it 3D Core. Can initialize it with this, but we also want the Unity ignore file because there's Unity files. And let's do Apache license. So basically, there's files that we don't want to track, and Unity ignore knows what those are, which is good news for us. So that's pretty cool. And we're going to create a hello XR, create the repository, and now it tells us a really important piece of information is that we have big files in here. So it says initialize git LFS, and that's large file system. So yeah, I can click over here and I can pull it up for review. I first find my mouse and then find the thing that can't see. All right, so anyway, the long story short is that it's a large file system management and we want to initialize that. So boom, pretty cool. Now, because we've already created our GitHub repository and our GitHub accounts, we can just push this or publish this repository to our account area. So I can just click on publish repository, organization. So it's like, hey, what organization does this belong to? So like you would have your own personal organization that you can push to. For me, I'm actually going to push it to Grid Social XR 2021F. And this is going to be so you all have access to it as well as me. So there we go. Oh, it says keep this code private. Didn't mean to do that. We can change that later. So this is kind of cool. We actually moved this project to GitHub, and using the system of like GitHub Desktop, I can say, go to the repository, go to the repo, view on GitHub, and now that I've selected view on GitHub, we should be able to grab it. Now, what's going on here is it's loading my stuff into a different window, and I can't quite see it until I move it over. So here's some interesting stuff. This is my personal, like my work personal account instead of my work account. So so I need to switch. So it's defaulting to like Chrome friendly stuff. So take the same URL and I keep this browser set up with my work stuff. So control and boom, there it is. The project's in the right spot. You can see AR Project 3D Core. So there it is. It's in Grid Social XR. We got all this stuff. It's all committed. That is super, super cool. And like I said, like if I didn't want it to be private, I can go to settings and I can scroll around here. As I scroll around, I can allow forking, but you see it won't let me do that because it's not public. So you have to do stuff like look for let's see, automatically. So what we're looking for is where it says like manage access, confirm my password, confirm the right account's password. All right, so who has access? It's a private repository. So I'm like, no, let's change the visibility. There it is, part of the danger zone, but I'm going to say this is a public repo so that it can be looked at directly and forked and worked with and all that good stuff. So let's make sure I typed this properly, understand the change. Boom, it's out there visible. And if I go to my other account, because it's visible, it probably takes a second. There it is. Where our course accounts are actually. All right. Well, let's grab this. Control C it. It's probably just taking a couple minutes to transform. Oh, it still says private. Does it take a second or two? Well, let's go back to settings then. Tell to make public. Geesh. Okay, so somehow I didn't do what I thought I did. So I'm coming back. Oh, you know what? Because I can't type anything proper. I need to be exact. I want to cheat, not need to type so much. Okay, now we did it. And if I go back to projects here, it doesn't have private by it, and that whole idea. There, now it loads. Cool. All right. So we got this set up. People know that that's one of our projects. This is going to be a Hello World project, but this was just getting something imported into GitHub, but starting with a project you had already made locally. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's possible to go to, say, Unity Hub, make a new project, and then go over to the GitHub desktop, say you want to add a local repo, and it asks you, oh, do you want this to be Unity? Oh, do you want to do the following things? And you say yes, and then I do want to publish it, and it sends it right up to your account. Pretty cool.